Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Yeah, it's that time again, that time when we're all thinking about, new beginnings, fresh starts, maybe even some big reinventions. But this year, you know what? Forget those same old resolutions. Let's talk about how AI can help us reinvent ourselves in ways we might never have even imagined.
Yeah, it's definitely a really fascinating time to be thinking about self-improvement. I mean, the tools and the resources that are out there right now are unlike anything, really, that we've ever seen before.
I know. It's crazy, and that's what we're diving into today. So we're going to be looking at a podcast transcript that lays out like a powerful case for using AI to achieve some pretty amazing transformations, whether it's changing careers, learning new skills, or even pursuing those passions that we've always dreamed of. It's like having an AI-powered guide to becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and it's not just about, getting organized or like boosting your productivity. This podcast really dives into how AI can actually act as like a personal strategist, guiding us towards a future we might not have even considered.
Okay, strategist. That's a word that definitely caught my attention. I usually think of AI for things like, scheduling appointments or maybe like suggesting movies to watch. But how can AI actually be a strategist when it comes to like our personal and professional lives?
Well, that's where it's really interesting. So imagine this. You're somebody who's been working in marketing for a few years. You're good at it, but you're not, totally fulfilled. You secretly dream of a more creative career, but you have no idea where to start.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. I know that feeling of being like stuck in a rut, but not knowing which direction to take.
Exactly. So that's where AI can step in and be that strategist. Let's say you've got strong visual skills from creating marketing materials. You're great at understanding customer behavior. And you've even like dabbled in graphic design as a hobby. An AI platform like LinkedIn Career Explorer, for example, could analyze all that data, your skills, your experience, your interests, even your online activity. And it could suggest a career path you might never have thought of, like user experience design, UX design.
So it's not just about finding like a new job in your current field. It's about connecting the dots between like these seemingly unrelated skills and experiences to uncover some hidden potential.
Exactly. AI can see those connections that we as humans might miss, right? It's opening up a whole world of possibilities. And it doesn't stop there. Let's say you decide, okay, I want to explore this UX design path. AI can then help you tailor your resume to highlight the specific skills and experiences that are most relevant to this new field.
Now, I've heard of AI resume tools, but honestly, I've always been a bit skeptical. Can an AI really write a better resume than a human?
Well, I think it's important to have a balanced perspective here. It's not about AI replacing human effort. It's about enhancing it. So take ChatGPT, for example. ChatGPT can analyze a job description, identify the key words and skills that employers are looking for, and then suggest ways to incorporate those into your resume, making sure that you stand out to recruiters.
So it's like having a superpowered editor who can instantly optimize your resume for a specific job. That's pretty impressive.
It is. But it's still important to review the AI suggestions. Make sure they actually accurately reflect your experience and add your own personal touch, right? AI is a tool, not a magic wand.
Right. It's about using AI to amplify our own efforts, not to completely take over. Okay, so we've got our resume tailored for this like exciting new career path. What's next?
Well, getting ready for those interviews is crucial. And yes, believe it or not, AI can even help us with that. So imagine this. You're sitting down for like a mock interview. But instead of a human interviewer, you're interacting with an AI-powered platform.
AI mock interviews. I have to admit, that sounds a little bit intimidating. Is it like being grilled by a robot?
Not at all. Actually, it can be a much less stressful environment than a real interview. Think of it as a safe space to practice your answers, work on your delivery, and get comfortable with the format.
But isn't that removing some of the realism? How does it prepare you for the pressure of a real interview with an actual human being?
That's a great question. So while it can't fully replicate that real-life pressure, it can give you really valuable feedback on things like your pacing, your clarity, and even your body language. Some platforms use AI to analyze your facial expressions and tone of voice, giving you insights into how you're coming across, non-verbally.
Hold on. So it can tell if I'm fidgeting too much or if my smile looks like forced. That's That's amazing and a little unnerving at the same time.
I know, it's pretty wild, but think of it this way. If you can identify and address those nervous habits in a practice setting, you'll be so much more confident and composed when it comes to the real deal.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to see how AI can really level up our interview game. So we've covered career exploration, we've covered interview prep, but what about actually learning the skills we need to succeed in these new roles? I feel like this podcast transcript is overflowing with examples of how AI can help with that.
It really is. And this is where things get even more personalized and exciting. Imagine a world where instead of, struggling to find the right learning resources, sifting through endless YouTube tutorials, or feeling overwhelmed by these dense textbooks, you had an AI-powered learning companion by your side, guiding you every step of the way.
Okay, now that sounds pretty futuristic, but also incredibly appealing. Tell me more.
Okay, so let's say you want to learn a new language, something that's always felt, kind of daunting. Instead of signing up for a generic online course or trying to teach yourself with a phrase book, you could use an AI-powered language learning app like Duolingo. And what's amazing about these platforms is their ability to really personalize the learning experience to your specific needs and goals.
So how does that actually work?
Well, for starters, it can assess your current level, identify your strengths and weaknesses, and then it can create a customized learning plan just for you. It's like having a personal tutor who is constantly adjusting the lesson plan based on your progress.
So no more feeling lost or overwhelmed by a one-size-fits-all approach. That's fantastic, especially for someone like me who tends to get discouraged easily.
Exactly. And it's not just about tailoring the content. It's also about providing, support and motivation along the way. AI can track your progress, identify areas where you might be struggling, and offer encouragement or additional resources just when you need them.
Oh, it's like having a virtual cheerleader constantly rooting for you and keeping you accountable.
That's a great way to put it. And this personalized approach isn't limited to language learning, right? AI can be used to create customized learning paths in a wide range of subjects, from coding to music to art. It's all about making learning more efficient, more engaging, and ultimately more successful.
This is all incredibly helpful for someone like me who loves learning new things, but sometimes, struggles to stay motivated. But speaking of efficiency, the podcast also mentions how AI can help us find the best content for learning new skills. So no more sifting through endless YouTube tutorials hoping to find the one that actually explains things clearly. How does that work?
Well, that's where AI's ability to analyze these massive data sets really shines. So it can curate top quality resources from across the web, taking into account factors like user reviews, expert recommendations, and even your own learning preferences.
So it's like having a personal research assistant who knows exactly what you need to succeed. I love that idea.
Me too. It can save you so much time and frustration. And it's not just about finding the right content. It's also about getting feedback on your progress. The podcast source highlights tools like Grammarly for writing and Codecademy for coding, both of which offer real-time feedback on your work, helping you catch mistakes and improve your skills more quickly.
Real-time feedback. Now, that's something I'm a bit conflicted about. On the one hand, I can see how it could be incredibly helpful, especially for someone who's just starting out. But on the other hand, doesn't it take away some of the joy of experimentation and discovery?
It's all about finding the right balance. So AI feedback should be seen as a guide, not like a definitive rule book, right? It's about leveraging the power of AI to accelerate learning, but still allowing yourself the freedom to explore and develop your own unique style.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about career changes, we talked about learning new skills. Now let's get to the really fun stuff, pursuing passions. The podcast connects AI to launching side hustles, exploring hobbies, and even building a personal brand. This is where things start to feel really, really exciting and new.
It is, and a lot of it comes down to AI's ability to lower the barriers to entry for things that might have previously felt daunting or out of reach. Take the example of launching a side hustle. The podcast source talks about how AI tools like ChatGPT can actually help you create a business plan.
Wait, AI can do that?
It can. Now, it's not about AI doing all the work for you, but it can provide a really strong foundation to build upon. Let's say you've always dreamed of starting a handmade jewelry business, but you have no idea where to begin. ChatGPT can guide you through that process, asking you key questions, helping you define your target audience, and even analyzing market trends to identify potential opportunities.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So I can literally tell ChatGPT, hey, I want to start a jewelry business, and it would walk me through all the steps of creating a business plan.
Exactly. So it would ask you questions about, your target customer, your pricing strategy, your marketing plan, all the essential components of a business plan. It can even pull data from the web to help you research your competitors, identify trends in the jewelry market, and even project potential revenue streams.
That's pretty mind-blowing. I'm starting to see how AI can really empower us to turn those what-if dreams into concrete realities. But what about those of us who aren't looking to start a business? Can AI still help us pursue our passions?
Absolutely. AI can be a powerful ally in exploring hobbies and developing new skills for personal enjoyment. Let's say you've always wanted to learn to play the piano. AI-powered music apps can provide personalized lessons, adaptive feedback, and even track your progress, making the learning process more engaging and fun. Or maybe you're a photography enthusiast. AI-powered editing tools can help you enhance your photos, experiment with different styles, and even learn new techniques. The possibilities are truly endless.
Wow, this is all so fascinating. It feels like we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what AI can do to help us reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all these possibilities, let's talk about some specific AI tools that can help us bring these ideas to life. The podcast source mentions a bunch, but are there any that really stand out to you?
Well, we've already talked about some really powerful tools like ChatGPT, LinkedIn Career Explorer, and Duolingo, but there are a couple others I think are worth highlighting. First up, there's Coursera. Have you heard of Coursera?
Oh, yeah. It's a platform where you can take online courses from top universities. Right?
Exactly. And what makes it so impactful is that it uses AI to personalize the learning experience, recommend courses based on your interests and goals, and even adjust the pace and difficulty level as you go. You can learn everything from data science to business management to creative writing, all from, world-renowned institutions right from your own home.
So it's like having access to an Ivy League education without the hefty price tag or the need to relocate. That's a game changer, especially for someone who's looking to make a career switch or upskill in their current field.
It is. And the fact that many of these courses offer certifications adds even more value, especially for those looking to, stand out in a competitive job market.
Speaking of standing out in the job market, the podcast also mentions a tool called ResuMake. How does AI actually help you write a resume? Isn't that something that requires a more personal touch?
It does, and that's where ResuMake really shines. It doesn't just, spit out a generic resume template. It uses AI to analyze your existing resume or LinkedIn profile, identify your key skills and accomplishments, and then suggest ways to showcase those in a visually appealing and professionally polished way.
So it's like having a personal resume designer on call. I'm trying to picture how it works. Does it scan your documents for keywords, or is it more about understanding the context of your experience?
It does both. So it scans for keywords that are relevant to the jobs you're targeting, but it also uses natural language processing to understand the nuances of your experience and suggest ways to highlight your most impressive achievements. It can even help you with things like formatting, layout, and even choosing the right font to make your resume stand out from the crowd.
That's incredible. I can definitely see how that would be helpful for someone who's feeling stuck or overwhelmed by the resume writing process.
Absolutely. And it all goes back to that idea of AI empowering us to be our best selves. It's not about AI taking over. It's about AI augmenting our capabilities and helping us achieve our goals.
I love that. And it's especially relevant now as we're all feeling that New Year's Eve energy, that sense of new beginnings and fresh starts. The podcast source really emphasizes why this is the perfect time to start using AI for self-improvement. Is it just hype? Or is there something special about this time of year?
I think there's definitely a psychological component at play here. The new year represents a clean slate, a chance to break old habits and embrace new possibilities. We're naturally more motivated and open to change at this time of year.
Oh, I could definitely relate to that feeling of renewed energy and optimism. It's
Yes,
a collective reset button, a chance to hit refresh on our lives.
Exactly. And what's interesting is how AI tools can actually amplify that motivation and help us turn those New Year's resolutions into lasting changes.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. We often set these ambitious goals for ourselves, but then we struggle to stay consistent. We get discouraged. We fall back into old habits. AI can help us overcome those hurdles by providing personalized guidance, tracking our progress, offering encouragement, and even adjusting our goals as needed. It can be that constant companion and accountability partner that we often lack when we're trying to make big changes on our own.
It's like having like a built-in support system, a personal coach who's always there to cheer us on and keep us on track. That's pretty powerful.
It is. And it's all about leveraging the power of AI to create a more supportive and empowering environment for self-improvement.
This is all so inspiring. I'm already feeling a surge of motivation to tackle those New Year's resolutions head on. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about how to use AI effectively to actually achieve those goals. The podcast source provides some general advice, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can turn those tips into actionable takeaways for our listeners.
Happy to share some insights. So the first tip the podcast mentions is setting clear goals, which might seem obvious, but it's especially important when it comes to AI.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it relate to AI specifically?
Well, with so many AI tools and platforms available, it's easy to get overwhelmed or distracted by, shiny new features. We might be tempted to try every new app or platform that comes along, but if we don't have a clear understanding of what we want to achieve, we might end up using AI for tasks that don't actually align with our goals.
So it's not just about jumping on every bandwagon. It's about being strategic and intentional with our use of AI. I like that approach.
Exactly. And it's helpful to break down those big overarching goals into smaller, more manageable steps. So, for example, if your goal is to launch that side hustle, you might start by using ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas and create a basic business plan. Then you can move on to ReThynk to create a professional online portfolio to showcase your work. And finally, you could explore AI-powered marketing tools to promote your business and reach your target audience.
I love how you break it down into those actionable steps. That makes it feel much less daunting.
Exactly. It's about creating a roadmap for success using AI at each stage to guide you and support your efforts.
Okay, that's a great tip for setting ourselves up for success. The second tip the podcast mentions is staying consistent. We all struggle with this, whether it's sticking to a workout routine, learning a new language, or building any new habit. How can AI help us overcome that hurdle?
Well, that's where AI's ability to personalize and automate comes in handy. There are countless AI-powered apps and platforms designed to help us stay on track with our goals. If you're trying to build a consistent writing habit, for example, Grammarly can not only provide feedback on your writing, but also track your progress and send you reminders to keep you motivated. Or if you're learning a new language, Duolingo uses gamification and personalized reminders to encourage daily practice.
It's like having a virtual cheerleader constantly rooting for you and making sure you don't, fall off the wagon. I love that idea.
Me too. And the beauty of AI is that it can adapt to your individual needs and preferences. Some people respond well to gamification, while others prefer, more data-driven insights or visual progress trackers. The key is to find what works for you and use AI to create a system that supports your unique learning style and helps you stay consistent over time.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive, and I'm already feeling incredibly inspired.
Me too. It's amazing to think about all the possibilities that AI opens up for self-improvement and personal growth.
But before we move on to the next layer of our exploration, I think it's time to take a moment to reflect on everything we've learned so far.
I agree. There's so much to unpack and process. Welcome back to our deep dive into AI for New Year's reinvention.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of information. We've talked about how AI can help us find new career paths, personalized learning experiences, even launch side hustles.
It's like AI is unlocking a whole new level of self-improvement.
I know. And one thing that's really stuck with me from the podcast transcript is this idea that AI isn't about replacing human effort. It's about, enhancing it.
It's a partnership, not a takeover.
Exactly. But with all these amazing AI tools at our fingertips, how do we make sure we're using them effectively? Not becoming too reliant or losing that human touch.
That's where the podcast's third tip for using AI comes in. It's all about embracing feedback.
Right. We can't just blindly follow every suggestion an AI makes.
Yeah.
We need to be able to think critically and use our own judgment.
Absolutely. AI can give us incredible insights and recommendations, but it's up to us to evaluate that feedback and make sure it aligns with our own values and goals.
So it's like having a brilliant advisor, but ultimately we're the ones calling the shots.
Exactly. AI can be a powerful tool for self-discovery, but it's not a substitute for our own intuition and decision-making.
We've talked a lot about the practical applications of AI, but as we delve deeper into this idea of reinvention, I think it's important to consider the human element.
I agree. No matter how sophisticated AI becomes, it can never replicate the qualities that make us uniquely human.
Qualities like creativity, resilience, and that drive to push beyond our comfort zones.
Exactly. AI can provide us with incredible tools and resources, but it's our human spirit that fuels the journey of self-reinvention.
I love that. It's like AI is giving us the keys to a high-performance car, but we're the ones behind the wheel choosing where to go and how fast to drive.
That's a great analogy. AI can help us navigate the road ahead, but it's up to us to choose the destination.
You know, this conversation has been so eye-opening. I'm feeling excited about the possibilities AI offers, but also mindful of the need to stay grounded in our own values and aspirations.
It's a balance, for sure. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to acknowledge that AI is constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah. Who knows what incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner.
It's an exciting time to be exploring these ideas. And while we've focused on the positive potential of AI, I think it's important to address the potential downsides as well.
Yeah, you're right. As with any powerful technology, there are ethical considerations we can't ignore.
Absolutely. And while the podcast transcript didn't delve too deeply into these ethical concerns, it did hint at the need for a responsible and thoughtful approach to AI.
Okay. I'm curious, what are some of the key ethical questions we should be asking ourselves as we embark on this AI-powered journey of self-reinvention?
Well, one question that immediately comes to mind is how do we ensure that AI is used fairly and equitably?
That's a crucial point. AI systems are trained on data, and if that data reflects, existing biases, those biases can be amplified in the AI's output.
Exactly. Let's say you're using an AI-powered platform to explore, career options. If that platform is trained on data that predominantly features men in leadership roles, it might be less likely to recommend those roles to women, even if they have the skills and qualifications.
That's a real concern. It's like those old computer says no situations, but with much higher stakes.
Right. So it's crucial to be aware of the potential for bias in AI systems and to advocate for the development of fair and transparent algorithms.
And it's not just about ensuring that AI treats everyone equally. It's also about making sure that it doesn't erode our sense of privacy.
That's another huge issue. AI systems can collect and analyze vast amounts of data about us, which raises all sorts of questions about data ownership, consent, and the potential for misuse.
It's like AI is becoming this incredibly insightful but potentially intrusive companion in our lives.
I know. And as AI gets better at predicting our preferences and personalizing our experiences, we need to be mindful of the potential for manipulation.
Right. We don't want to end up in a world where AI is making all our choices for us, subtly nudging us in directions that might not align with our true desires.
It's about maintaining our agency and autonomy in an AI-driven world.
So it's not just about embracing the possibilities of AI. It's also about setting boundaries and ensuring that we're using it in a way that serves our best interests.
Exactly. It's a partnership, remember. And like any good partnership, it requires open communication, mutual respect, and a shared understanding of each other's strengths and limitations.
This conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about. It's clear that as we embrace the power of AI for self-reinvention, we need to do so with both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of critical thinking.
I couldn't agree more. It's an exciting time to be alive, but it's also a time for thoughtful reflection and responsible action.
I'm curious, as we move into the final part of our deep dive, is there anything specific from the podcast transcript that you'd like to revisit or explore further?
As we've been discussing these ethical considerations, one point from the podcast keeps coming back to me. It's the idea that AI is a mirror reflecting back our own values and biases.
Oh, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, AI systems are created by humans, trained on data collected by humans, and ultimately used by humans. So it's inevitable that they will reflect our own strengths and weaknesses, our aspirations and prejudices.
So in a way, AI is a reflection of ourselves, both the good and the bad.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to approach AI with a critical eye, to question its assumptions, and to challenge its biases.
Because if we're not careful, AI could end up amplifying the very problems we're trying to solve.
It's a responsibility we can't take lightly. The future of AI depends on our choices today.
This conversation has been so thought-provoking. I'm feeling both inspired by the possibilities of AI and humbled by the ethical complexities it presents.
Me too. And I think that's the perfect mindset to have as we continue exploring this topic.
Before we move on to our final thoughts, I think it's time for a little New Year's Eve toast.
To AI and the power of human potential.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It's New Year's Eve, and we're exploring how AI can help us reinvent ourselves, while keeping a close eye on the ethical side of things.
It's been quite a journey. We've covered so much ground, from personalized career advice to AI-powered learning companions, and even, the potential for bias in algorithms.
It's mind-boggling to think about how rapidly AI is evolving and what it means for our future.
It really is. And as we head into this new year, I think it's the perfect time to reflect on what we've learned and consider, what lies ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. As we've been discussing all these amazing applications of AI, there's one question that's been kind of swirling around in my mind. It's something the podcast transcript didn't really address directly.
Oh, I'm all ears. What's the question?
Well, if AI can help us learn new skills, explore different career paths, and even launch businesses, what happens to traditional education and job training? Does AI disrupt those systems, or does it somehow work alongside them?
That's a fantastic question, and one that's sparking a lot of debate right now. What's fascinating is that AI has the potential to both disrupt and enhance traditional education.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
On the one hand, AI-powered learning platforms offer personalized instruction, on-demand access to knowledge, and even automated feedback, which could make traditional classrooms seem less relevant or efficient.
Right. It's like having a world-class tutor available 24/7 right in your pocket.
Exactly. But on the other hand, AI can also be integrated into existing educational systems, right? To personalize the learning experience for each student, provide teachers with real-time insights into student progress, and even automate administrative tasks, freeing up educators to focus on higher-level teaching and mentoring.
So AI could be a powerful tool for teachers, not a threat to their profession.
Precisely. It's about using AI to augment human capabilities, not replace them. Imagine a classroom where AI helps teachers identify students who are struggling with a particular concept and then provides customized resources to help them catch up.
That would be amazing. It would allow teachers to tailor their instruction to each student's individual needs.
Exactly. And it's not just about personalized learning. AI can also help us assess skills and match people with job opportunities more effectively.
And so instead of relying on traditional resumes and job postings, AI could analyze our skills and experience and then connect us with employers who are looking for those specific talents.
That's right. It could revolutionize the way we think about, careers and job searching.
This is all so exciting. It seems like AI has the potential to create a more personalized and equitable education and employment landscape.
I agree, but as with any technological advancement, there are challenges to consider as well.
Yeah, you're right. We need to be mindful of the potential downsides and ensure that AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that AI systems are designed to be fair and unbiased, accessible to everyone, and that they respect our privacy and autonomy.
It's a lot to consider, but I'm optimistic that we can harness the power of AI for good.
Me too. And I think this conversation has been a great starting point for exploring the possibilities and challenges of AI in the context of self-reinvention.
Well, as we wrap up this episode, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, this idea that AI is a mirror, reflecting back our own values and biases.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? It reminds us that AI is not some neutral force. It's shaped by human decisions and reflects the world we create.
So ultimately, the future of AI is in our hands.
Exactly. And as we step into this new year, let's make a conscious effort to use AI in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into AI for New Year's reinvention. It's been an incredible journey of discovery.
The pleasure was all mine. And to everyone listening, Happy New Year. May your year be filled with exciting reinventions and meaningful growth.
Cheers to that. And remember, as we embrace the power of AI, let's not forget the power within ourselves. Happy New Year, everyone.